Hey Dragonfire, today I'm going to be talking about our Guild War team. We're going to be making a change there. Uh, and I'm going to talk about, I got my spreadsheet here. I'm going to talk about uh, how I determine who needs to be on the team. Uh, and I'm going to talk about what each player needs to do to stay on the team, and what players need to do to be promoted upward, and what players need to do to avoid being demoted. Um, and look, anybody that gets demoted, you're not going to be kicked off the team and never fight again. You're just going to fight less times per week. We're doing a lot of uh, signet champion ring sharing lately, right? So we actually use 23 players right now, and there's a couple more players that are, on the cusp of making the team eventually. But the player that we need to work in is Seed of Faith. See, he's our 10th most powerful player now. He's got 600k Titans with 3 stars and max totem level. And he's got 700k heroes. So we need him on the team now. We need the defense. We need the extra power. Um, and with him on the team, uh, we're just about ready to pull even now with the Japanese guilds. We're still just 100 or 200k below them in power, but that's better than a million or 800,000 it's been the past month. So we are just about pulling even with them in power. Um, so ideally, when we set up our team, we're going to have a somewhat equal amount of earth, fire, and water teams. Now, that's not the case for us. Right now, we're using 10 water teams, which is half our team, and 6 fire teams and only 4 earth teams. So we're really hurting for earth teams, for quality earth, and with our fire teams, several of them are for hero. Like X doesn't make Titan attacks unless we really need him to. He's a hero guy. He's one of our best hero attackers. Um, and then we've just got all these water, all these water teams, right? So, and we need more earth teams. And actually today we're going to be demoting 1 fire team, and we're going to be going down to 5 fire teams and going up to 11 water teams. That's because Seed of Faith has water. But we need the power for now. So that's what we're going to be doing. But I wanted to go over each of our sections just to kind of show the guild where we're at. So we only have 5 earth teams that we rotate between. We only use 4 a day, but we have 5 guys that we rotate between. Amo is a permanent player because he's got one of our best hero teams, and so we don't use him for Titans. But for Crazy, myself, Kiara, Cat, Elisari, we're all on the team because we need someone to make attacks against water with earth teams. Unfortunately, we only have 2 3-star totems and a bunch of 2s, and 2s just aren't getting the job done. They're just not good enough these days. But Elisari is a permanent player. See, you can see how many days that they're on per week. Almost on 5 days a week. Elisari's on 5 days a week. And that's because he's got our most powerful Titan team, even though it's only 2 stars. So he has to be there. But, okay, so we're going to talk about what players need to do to be promoted or to avoid demotion. And so the thing about Elisari, he's got the smallest heroes on our team. So eventually, when Crazy, myself, and Kiara Cat catch up in Titan power, we're going to knock him out of his spot because we have bigger heroes and he's got these tiny little heroes. And Crazy's got the same totem as he does, but he's got a lot more. He's got a ton more, 240k k more power in heroes, right? So that he would win the tie there, and then Kiara and myself, we both have 3-star totems, right, and bigger heroes. So the there's kind of a race here going on between us for making the team, and you know the question is, the will we catch up in Titan power before he catches up in heroes, right? So we're racing our Titans against his heroes, and eventually we're going to catch up to him, and when we do, he needs to have his hero power bigger. So Elisari, my encouragement to you is to focus on your 5 guys, and just promote them right now. Just push them and get your hero power up, so that by the time we catch up, you're still in the game. And Kiara Cat, the big thing there is just to catch your Titans up to him, so you can surpass him. Same to you, Crazy. And right now, what we're doing with our signet sharing is we're doing groups of 3, and these are the groups of 3 right here. 3 groups of 3, and player A and player B are on 4 days a week, and they have one player's Monday off, the other player's Friday off, and player C plays Monday and Friday. So the third person in the group plays 2 days, and the 2 starters play 4. In the future, we're going to be looking at going to a group of 4 format where players A, B, and C have 1 day off, and player D plays 3, fills in for each of the days that they are off. And then also later on, a 5-player group. This is probably the best, where all the players have 1 day off, and they're all on for 4 days. That's the most fair, balanced sharing that we can do. But we have a ways to go before we get people equal enough to do that kind of sharing. So if we got to make room for Seed of Faith, where are we going to make that room? Well, it's going to have to come from our Fire Titans. Because all of our water guys are just too important to take off the team to reduce their time. And we can't reduce Earth anymore because we're already hurting there. So temporarily, we're going to take one person off of fire, to demote one person to fire to make room for Seed of Faith. And we'll talk about fire next, just like I talked about Earth. So essentially, for fire, we've got these 3 guys here who are competing for playing time. And currently, Overdye is the one who's only on twice a week, and Demillion and the Slime are on 4 days. And so what Overdye needs to do to pass Slime is, he's almost there. His power for his Fire Titans is almost caught up to Slime. He's got a bigger totem. He's got lower levels. But this is where he needs to grow to catch Slime. And he's already got 700k heroes. His hero team is really growing lately. He's really got that put together now. And Demillion also is in a race with Overdye for playing time. I mean, Overdye can also catch Demillion. He's real comparable. He's got 1 less star in his totem. He's got less levels, but he's catching up. He's been steadily catching up, and his Titans have actually passed Demillion in terms of total power. And Demillion might have 744k power for his heroes, but his hero army is not that strong because he's got Artemis in there. And, Artemis just is it's just not very strong. So let's look at his team. Here's his team, right? He's got Artemis and Sebastian there, and I mean it's got a lot of power, but he doesn't win with it very often. he's got a stronger team that I think he's working on over here in COW, and that's team 2 there, where instead of Sebastian and Artemis, uh, he's got Celeste and Mojo. Now that's a really strong team because Mojo is a really good damage dealer, and Arachne gives him more magic penetration. Celeste gives him magic attack, and so they both boost him in his attack. So once Demillion gets Mojo uh, promoted up, his main team will be really strong. And Thea there gives him magic defense and of course silences mages. So he'll have a very good anti-magic team once he gets that straightened out. But for now, his hero team is kind of a mess, and Oberdie's team's actually stronger. Oberdie, let's look at Oberdie's team. Let's see if he uses the same team here. Yeah, so his team 2 is his main team, and he's got that Corvus Morgan team with a lot of healing and a lot of power. That's a good strong team. So that's he doesn't really need to make changes there. He just needs to keep promoting that. So in this slot, Demillion, Overdie, and Slime are all competing for playing time. And Slime really needs to, just like I said about Elisari, needs to get his hero team up. Slime, you gotta just only promote your main team. You're falling way behind, and everybody's gonna pass you. Has passed you. And I mean, there was a time when you were stronger than me, and I'm now 100K bigger than you. So I need you to really focus on those 5. Your main 5, and hopefully one of these days you'll get a 3rd star, and that'll pump you right back up the list. Ideally, Demillion will catch up to Yeagle eventually in power, so we can have a good 1-2 punch for our Titan attack teams, or if not Demillion, Overdie. Like I said, they're kind of racing each other. But the person I'm going to take down to make room for Seed of Faith is right now Slime until he gets his heroes back up, and Seed of Faith will go to, well, I guess 4 days a week. That's what I'm going to have him start at, and that'll strengthen our team in the short run, but long term. So that unfortunately that brings us down to just 5 fire teams on per day, and we need that to be 6. So eventually, as these guys grow to Million Overdie Slime, they'll retake. One of these guys, Overdie or Slime, is going to retake Signet. So they're kind of racing each other right now. Just putting that out there. And finally, we're going to look at our water teams. Like I said, we've got a ton of them. We got 11 people that share 10 rings currently, and you can see they're all, they're all very similar to each other in power. There's a lot of competition there for them to have. Now, Zia has got the weakest Titans of them all because he's only got 2 stars and he's only got 102 levels, and the power is low. The only one lower is Thomas, and so Zia needs to work on his Titans a little bit, but he's on the team because we need his heroes. We're doing more hero attacks now than we're trying to emphasize heroes more than Titans now. So that's why he's still there. Rakanishu, he's sort of in the same boat as Slime and Elisari. He needs to get his heroes up, um, and also his power on his water. But the reason why he's on the team, and we really need him on every day, is because he's got a 5-star totem. Look, the only person bigger than him is Baba, and the other thing is Rock is also just really good with his Titans. He can beat teams that are 100k and bigger than 100k than he is. So even though he's low power, he's indispensable from the team. So for all of our water teams, I'm telling you, you guys are in competition with each other, and eventually we're going to give that signet back to the fire team, and we're going to have to demote some players here and do more. Instead of having a bunch of people on 5 days, they're going to be on 4. We're going to have to go over to this model here, and that's coming eventually. So I'm just encouraging you guys, if you want to be on every day, you gotta work on your power. Now, 3's got lower power than some of the people above him, but he's on every day because even though he's only 680k, he's able to beat a lot of 800k teams. So his hero power is bigger than it looks, and he's got really good Titan power, and so he's like Rock Nishu. He's bigger than he looks, right? So I really wish all of our water teams could be on every day, because all these players are really good. Like I don't like having Thomas only on 4 days, because he's very reliable. Comes on at the end and rescues us a lot. He's both good. He has good heroes now and good Titans, but we have to share. But eventually I'm going to start making changes here, just based on where people are at. I don't know when I'm going to do that. Just I'm giving everybody time to kind of work on what they need to. And finally, we've got a few players outside of our team that are close. Netizens got a almost 700k hero army, which is really good. It's just that he's being held back, and he's even got 3 stars for his Titans, but his power is really low. But once his power catches up, he'll be there. We'll work him into the lineup. And same with Team DR. He's really growing fast. He's almost 600k, and he's almost 500. I mean, he's right there on the cusp. He's not far behind. He's being held back also by a 2-star totem. We really need him to get bigger. He'd have to get to supplant anybody up here. He'd have to catch up to Zia, with his heroes, and be a hero guy. And then for fire teams, Red Dragon he's got 700k heroes and almost 500k Titans now, so he's getting close. He's also being held back by a 2-star totem. But the most interesting player that's going to work his way in eventually is Dark Age, because he's got a 4-star Earth totem, which would be the biggest we've got. Except Baba has one too, but he plays water, not Earth. And Dark Age needs to just get if Dark Age had 550k, if he had 100 more k Titans, Earth Titans right now, he'd already be there. And then he'd also be held back. He also needs to get his main team up too. Just focus on that. But so Dark Age, man, you're almost there. I'm telling you, you're almost there. That just gives people an idea of where we're at with our teams and the competitions that are out there, and so water guys, just be aware that eventually most of you are going to be going down to 4 days a week as we start sharing more signets with our water, because we just got too many water. But we're kind of waiting for the fire and earth teams to catch up. So you're safe for the meantime. But yeah, I just want everybody to kind of know how I put the team together, the way I look at it, and what people need to do to increase their playing time. All right.